I really wanted to make a blouse like this. I'm in love with one of my latest patterns, the Brisa dress, because I love the V-shaped flared silhouette, and I wanted to make a blouse using this pattern. The original pattern comes with written instructions. When I sewed this dress, I used a linen viscose blend and loved the result. It turns out I had some scraps of this fabric left over, so I decided to make the blouse using exactly the same fabric. Actually, sewing the blouse is very simple because you don't have to make any modifications to the pattern. The skirt piece in the pattern looks like this. In the original pattern, you have to lengthen it to the appropriate length based on your height. But here, we're going to cut it as is to create a peplum silhouette. The only thing is, since I want to give it a balloon shape, instead of finishing it with a hem, notice that I've cut it on fold downwards, so it's twice as high. We'll then cut this piece in half. On the back, we'll have two rectangular panels. The front is very similar, except that it slopes downward in the center to create that V shape. We're going to cut this piece on fold both at the center front and along the hemline to create that balloon silhouette. To give you a better visual idea, this is what the skirt piece will look like from the front, and this is what it will look like from the back. The truth is, to place the body pieces, I had to really fit them to what was left of the fabric, because I had very little, but miraculously, they all fitted in there. Since this fabric feels very nice against the skin, I'm going to use the same fabric for both the outer shell and the lining. So I'm going to cut all the pieces twice. This is the general cutting layout for the bodice. Let's start by assembling the center front, placing the two pieces right sides together and stitching along the seam allowance. Generally speaking, I'm going to press the seams open. Pay close attention to the seam allowance markings on the pattern because not all seams have the same seam allowance. Next, we'll join the hip pieces to the side panels of the bodice, the horizontal seams. We'll join the center back to the side panel, and the center front to the front side panels, carefully shaping them to follow the curve of the bust. Although I usually press the seams open, In the case of the bust side panel, I think it looks better if you press it toward the side. And of course, you should use a sewing ham to properly shape the curve of the bust. This will make your garment look so much better. Finally, we'll join the front and back along the sides. The outer body is now sewn together, so we'll repeat the same steps to sew the lining. Next, we'll sew on the straps. To sew the straps, we just need a rectangular strip of fabric about 3.5 to 4 centimeters wide. We'll cut one end into a miter and sew a small stitch at the tip. We'll leave a very long thread. Now, fold the tip inward toward the rectangle and fold the strap right sides together, leaving the thread in the center. This will help ensure that when we stitch the strap, we can pull on the thread to turn the strap right side out. Trim the excess seam allowance to make turning it easier, then pull on the thread. Slippery fabrics work best with this technique. Otherwise, in the description box, I've included another method for creating a spaghetti-style strap. Once we have both straps, we'll try them on. It's important to check that the strap length fits you properly before sewing it. This way, you can also try on the bodice before sewing the lining in case any adjustments are needed. So, with the straps already at the correct length, place the bodice and the lining right sides together, aligning the entire neckline. The straps will be sandwiched between the 2 layers of fabric. Sew along the seam allowance. Make notches in all the curved areas of the neckline and armhole. Turn the garment inside out and press the entire neckline thoroughly. Optionally, you could do an edge stitch along the neckline. In this case, it's not necessary because my fabric presses very well. Still, I'll leave an additional tutorial in the description box. Since I'm making a blouse this time, I won't be adding a zipper to the center back. I'll finish it with hooks and eyes. I'll hide the hooks and eyes between the 2 layers of fabric. Once the center back is sewn this way, I'll insert the hooks and eyes in the center. You can space the hooks and eyes 2 to 4 centimeters apart, whatever you prefer. In any case, make the marks from top to bottom. Imagine you're starting at the top. You should leave 1 centimeter to place a hook and eye fastener. Then make a mark at 4 centimeters and another mark at 1 centimeter to place another hook and eye fastener, and so on. We do this because we're going to place the center back right sides together. And we're going to sew it, leaving the space for the hooks unsewn. I sew the 3 or 4 centimeters, stop, make a back stitch, skip the 1 centimeter where I'm going to place the hook, and continue sewing until the next mark, and so on. Turn the garment right side out again and press the center back well. With this method, we can easily place the hooks between the 2 layers of fabric. But I'll do that at the end, when I'm finishing the garment. For now, let's continue with the skirt. We'll join the front skirt piece to the 2 back pieces along the sides. Stitch along the seam allowance and press the seam open. Next, fold the skirt piece in half along the hemline. So if you don't iron the hem, when you gather it, it will create a balloon-like shape. At the center back, we'll fold the fabric about 3 or 4 centimeters inward, so we don't have to make a seam. Be sure to serge or zigzag the center back to prevent fraying. Don't worry, the zigzag stitch will be hidden. At the center front, at the corner, on the wrong side of the fabric, we'll place a strip of interfacing so that when we sew it, it won't fray. Gather the entire seam line of the skirt. I like to do this in sections. I gather the back, then one half of the front, the other half of the front, and the other side of the back. This allows you to gather the different sections separately and shape the fabric more easily. Before sewing the skirt to the bodice, mark the corner vertex on both pieces. You can do this by marking the seam line according to the garment's seam allowance. This way, you'll be able to match the pieces up properly when sewing. To sew this type of shape more effectively, we'll first sew just one half of the garment. That is, from the center back to the point at the center front, and then we'll stop. So start by matching the seams and adjusting all the gathers to fit the body. Start sewing at the center back and stop right at the mark we made at the point. Make a deep notch at the point, cutting all the way to the stitching, but without cutting the thread or going too far, because that could leave a hole. This will allow you to turn the fabric and better adjust it to the other side of the garment. Now repeat the stitching on the other side. With this, the garment is practically finished. To finish the seam, you can use an overlock machine or bias tape. Since this is a double-layered gathered section, the seam may end up being quite thick. So we'll carefully press it down. Since the fabric will likely want to bunch up, what we're going to do in the seam areas, that is at the side seams and the side panel, is to hold the fabric down with a small stitch. You can sew this stitch by hand, and it will be hidden among all the gathers, so don't worry. Finally, you can sew on the hooks and eyes. Insert the hook into the opening in the fabric, and using your fingers to feel for the small circles, thread the needle through that area to secure it. Use thread that matches the fabric, since these small stitches may be visible. Check by pulling on the hook to make sure it doesn't come out. That means it's securely fastened. Repeat this process for all the hooks and eyes, both the ones on one side, the male ones, and the female on the other side. And with that, the blouse is finished. I used a hook and eye closure, but of course you can use a zipper if you prefer, or for example, a lace closure.